We finally got it. A no-nonsense Predator movie that delivers carnage, cool weapons, and a whole clan of Yautja in animated form. Let's talk about Predator Killer of Killers, the movie that's half comic book, half fever dream, and somehow still a blast. Before we get gutted like a colonial marine, appease the algorithm gods. Smash that like button, subscribe, and click the playlist link below for all things Predator. Set centuries before the original film, this anthology-style animated entry drops us into the multiple stories featuring elite predators hunting the most dangerous killers across time and galaxies, from feudal Japan to the Predator Homeworld. These chapters tie together through an unexpected wraparound that hints at a multi-generational war among Yautja and beyond. As you know from the channel, if you've been here before, I'm a big fan of both the Predator and Alien franchise, as you can see from our Predator review recently. And I've always wanted a straight up Predator sequel, not Predators, just a straight up action sequel that goes back to the basics. I wanted that for a long time. We got that with Prey. The Predator coming to Earth at different time periods and hunting the most dangerous game, that is humans. And Prey did that successfully, but we never got a Predator 3. And it's always been hinted at, especially in Predator 2, that these Yautja or Predators have been coming to our world fighting people for centuries. Well, here we are now with Predator Killer of Killers, where we see the Yautja hunt down different killers from different parts of time. And I will say, I do like the animation style. It looks a little bit choppy. People will probably be complaining about low frame rate or whatever. I think I got used to it. It's just a stylistic choice. I like it, especially when there's a lot of fast movement and there's a lot of good choreography in this. You get to see 3 different predators. The one from the Viking one, he's like a hulking predator with one hand that has some sort of like gravity push gun on it. They made some kind of cool use of it. I think the coolest predator was the one from the Sword Story, the samurai Japanese ninja one. He was a very cool design. I really loved his design and his weapons. His weapons were really cool. He reminded me of the City Hunter in a little bit. He kind of looked like, in the face, he kind of looked like the Predator from Prey. And then you have the Bullet. That's the final one. And it's basically a Predator in the dogfight. It's just planes shooting at each other and stuff. And I don't even think this Predator has dreads. He just has this one eye thing. I can see why they did that, because you don't want to see hand-to-hand combat for 3 stories. You need to change it up a little bit, but it's a neat divergent from what we were used to seeing from the Predator fighting and hunting. And there was an unexpected sort of wraparound story that I liked. I wasn't expecting it because they didn't show it in the trailer. Shockingly, they didn't spoil something in this movie. And Michael Biehn is in this movie. So how I'd rank the stories of this is, I would rank the Japanese one, Sword, as my favorite. Second to The Shield. The Shield is in the middle. That's the Viking one. That's the one the movie starts out with. And then probably my final one is The Bullet. I think I like The Bullet less because I don't feel like there was enough heart that went into it compared to the other 2. Impressive thing about this is, like, these are short stories, and both the Viking one and the samurai one, they had a lot of heart to them. They had a lot of character development for that short amount of time. The Bullet and the Torres character, I'm not a big fan of, but the Bullet did have Michael Biehn, so all is forgiven. All right, so I got a lot of problems with this. I don't know what the deal is here. It's like, we have established lore on the Predators, and the Predators are not honorable in this. Like, they are terrible, especially in the last part of this movie, which I'll go into in the spoiler section a little bit later, because I don't want to give this away if no one's seen it. I'm sure most people have seen it since it's on Hulu. But man, they're like assholes in this. It just seems like every iteration, every sequel we get, the Predators become less and less honorable. and that's just not what was established in the original movies. And also, some of this established lore isn't followed with this. I just recently watched Predator 2, and there's an established thing they bring up where predators attracted to heat and conflict. They're attracted to conflict, but not heat, apparently, because they were fighting Vikings in the snow and ice. Maybe I'm just looking too much into it. If we want to explore the predator in different settings and stuff, okay, we can rest with that, but let's just say they're attracted to conflict. But the problem is with short stories about predators hunting humans, you gotta nerf those predators. So you gotta make them a little bit weaker than the predators that we've grown up with in the movies. That's the drawback of these sort of things like this, like these anthologies and TV shows, is that the predators become a little less special. They're a little less powerful. They're less intimidating because they're dispatched all the time. Where you have like a whole thing, a platoon of like muscle-bound guys in the forest, or cops and gangsters in Los Angeles. It takes a while to get this predator and get it killed. But these are like short stories, so you only have a certain amount of time. So it doesn't seem like as much of a struggle to defeat them. Jesus. Like, predators are fighting like Wolverine and Spider-Man now. And another problem I had, and I'll go into this in the spoiler section here coming up, but there's a lot of comedy in the Torres character, is a lot of comedy relief. And I don't mind levity in a Predator movie. There's a lot of levity in a Predator movie. And not a lot, but where it makes sense. And I think they lean a little too much into the comedy of this. It feels sort of MCU-ish. And I'm like, be careful with that comedy. I'm going to go into spoilers. Just go to the timestamp below if you don't want to hear any of this. But I've got some interesting views on the ending, because it's like a little twist ending there, and some of the other criticisms I had. So basically the wraparound story is they're all survivors. They're frozen in time, so they're like 500 to 300 years apart, the survivors of this from each story. And they go to the Predator Homeworld, and the King Predator, the Viking woman calls the Grendel King, is going to have them fight each other to the death, and whoever survives that will fight him. What the fuck? These people killed a predator, and then this is what you're going to do to them? That's why I was talking about the predators not being that honorable anymore. This is like a fucking impossible situation. It's a far cry from like Predator 2, when Danny Glover killed a predator, and then they were super honorable. They tossed him that pistol, and they fucked right off. Like, they didn't do anything else to him. But it was cool because I was not expecting a team up in the final act, because they didn't give that away in the trailers at all. And it was cool seeing the Predator Homeworld. I don't think we've ever seen the Predator Homeworld. Not, at least not on like in movies or anything. I know Predators takes place on a hunting range, basically, like a planet they use just for hunting. It's not really the Predator's home planet. And this is the part where it became a little too quippy for me. You have Torres, the comedy relief. He gets swallowed by one of the predator animals. He's still alive in the stomach, stabbing his way out of it. It leaned a little too much into the goofiness. Like, it was undercutting the action of what was happening on screen. And that's why I see it as like a MCU unification in a bit, because that's the one thing they got a little too carried away with in the MCU, is just the comedy aspect. And it felt like it was leaning towards that in this final act. So in the end, they team up, they try to take on the Predators, the Grendel King and everything. Torres gets on the ship, they're going to escape. They shoot like a hook on the ship. Kenji gets his arm shot off, that was cool. And then Ursa, the Viking woman, she basically sacrifices herself to destroy the hook so they can get away. But then you have a bunch of predator ships going after them. Ursa is not killed, she is frozen again. And then they're taking her body through all these other frozen aliens and humans and stuff which they killed a lot of fucking predators apparently. And then they go past a human, and it is Naru from Prey. So, I got a few ideas about this, and some of them worry me. So, we're getting like a connected universe, okay? So, I thought it was weird that we're getting a direct sequel to Prey, because we've never had a direct sequel to one of the Predator movies. Like, we didn't get a Arnold Schwarzenegger sequel, we didn't get a Danny Glover sequel, we didn't get a Adrian Brody sequel, but we're getting a sequel with Naru. I'm like, how are they going to do this? How are you going to do a Predator movie in the same setting? Apparently, it's not going to be the same setting. So this seems like the sequel to Prey is going to be a team-up movie. That's what I'm taking from it. It's going to be Naru, Kenji, Torres, and Ursa, and possibly that Predator from Badlands. I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of follow-up with Badlands at the end, connecting to this, and it being like a Avengers style sequel to Predator, which I don't know how I feel about that. I like what Dan Trachtenberg is doing with this, but do we really need like the MCU version of Predator? And then you got aliens, like they're teasing like aliens versus Predator. I don't know how to feel about this. I want another Alien versus Predator movie, of course. And it might be good. The way movies have been and these like shared universes have been just got me a little worried. I just like Predator. You went back to basics and now you're overcomplicating it. I don't know how I feel. I'm torn on it. It could be cool. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments about this Avengers style Prey sequel that it looks like they're setting up to me. But overall, I would give Predator Killer of Killers a 3.5 out of 5. It's good. It's a fine addition to the franchise. And it does bring me back to reading the side stories through Dark Horse Comics, which, you know, it's nostalgic. I like the stylistic choice of animation, but as the movie went on, I felt diminishing returns. It was fun, but I'm a little hesitant for this to be part of the live action movies that it seems to be trending towards. And the last act felt a little uneven. It was unexpected, sure, but I feel it just leaned into the comedy aspect a little too much. But I'm not here to complain too much. I had fun with this. I've been wanting some good Predator content for decades, and I'm just glad it's getting its opportunity to shine now. And Disney is taking it a little bit more seriously. And I'm all for Dan Trachtenberg doing his thing with this franchise. But did you see Predator Killer of Killers? Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of it. If the algorithm gods demand a blood sacrifice, offer them your like, your sub, and your comments below. Do it before a Xeno hatches inside of you. And I'll see you later. Bye.